Listen, Slot and his team are under fraud watch. No one can tell me otherwise. This is a pathetic defense or a title defense from Liverpool. You cannot be the current champions and be defending the league title like this. Let me start off with Slot. Annie, when are you going to realize that your team is too easy to play against? And I'm talking about from the front to the midfield to the back line. Liverpool are too open. One ball over the top cuts them open. If you're playing against Liverpool, right? Like Brentford did this weekend. Brentford literally exposed Liverpool down the channels. Literally, Slot has been complaining about, every time we play against a team, they set up to play long balls and we cannot actually play against teams like that. Well, Annie, I'm not sure what you want teams to do. How exactly do you want the teams to play against you? Because I'm a bit confused. Let's look at the game against Brentford this past weekend, right? Alarm bells were ringing from the start. Liverpool have actually lost 4 games in the Premier League in a row now. Brentford exposed them by playing the ball down the flanks behind both fullbacks, and they had joy. Set pieces, long throws, which Annie Slot has been complaining about. And that is what actually undid Liverpool. Like I mentioned before, they are too wide open in the midfield. The space between the defenders and their midfield is too wide open. You cannot, and I repeat, you cannot actually play like that in the Premier League, whereby your back foot is under constant pressure, when you know your left back is not good defensively anyway. Let's talk about Kerkers in Brentford's first goal. I do understand that he thought a Liverpool player or someone will have taken the responsibility to actually win the first header for Liverpool, but clearly not, because this guy was ducking. What was he doing? I know he scored the goal to get Liverpool back into the game, but that defending was just poor, mate. Come on, you're going to have to learn how to do better. And then let me speak about Virgil van Dijk. Virgil, you cannot be pointing fingers at people, telling them what to do, and you don't do your job properly. Did you mind seeing the penalty he gave away? As one of the best held defenders in the world right now, or the best defender in the world right now, what sort of tackle was that? You're nowhere near the ball. You're nowhere near the ball to give away a cheap penalty like that. Come on, you should be doing better. And then now, let's speak about Mo Salah. Even though he scored a late goal, listen, I'm not sure what's going on with him, because he's been so underwhelming this season. It's actually ridiculous now. Losing the ball left and right, cannot beat his defender. Mo Salah cannot beat his defender. Wow, this is a new low for Liverpool. And bearing in mind, December, he's going off to AFCON. All I'm going to say is Slot needs to sort out that back four. The space between the midfield and the back four is too much. It's too easy for them to play against. They do not press from the front. I'm going to use Arsenal as an example. The spaces between the defenders, the back four, the midfield, and those playing up top is marginal. For you to play in between Arsenal is a tough gig. Slot, you better take a leaf out of Arteta's page, mate. Even though it's boring, you better take a page. Now let's take a trip down to Stamford Bridge. Chelsea against Sunderland. If memory serves me right, the last time Sunderland came away at the Stamford Bridge, last time Sunderland were in the Premier League, they beat Chelsea 2-1. And this was like written in the stars. Like, what exactly is going on? Because at the moment, I can see that what's called Maresca's project is very fragile right now. Very fragile, because results like this does not show any sort of improvement. Yeah, midweek, they beat what's called Ajax. 5-1, was it? But that was a poor team. You cannot have that sort of performance midweek, and then in the league, you play like you guys never played together before. Example, with your own manager, right? Admitting, doing a press conference after the game to what's called ESPN, saying inconsistencies are costing us. Or he said them. The basics aren't always being done, especially in moments of pressure. That leads me to the last goal that was scored by Sunderland. A whole football from a set piece into what's his name, Ryan Brodbury, right? He holds out the ball nicely with two men on him. The two men were Tosin and Chalaba, with Tosin holding him up. Tell me why Brodbury was able to bring the ball down, waited about 5 seconds for his teammate to arrive. One thing, if you go back and look at the goal, one thing I cannot get my mind around is what Trevor Tabela, while watching, Tosin is holding him up. Brodbury is not even looking behind because he doesn't know what's going on. His teammates arrive about 3 seconds later. He's able to turn Tosin and lay the ball off on the edge for his teammate to then score the winning goal. It was a great finish by Taubi. But come on, guys. That is schoolboy defending right there. For a team that is apparently meant to be challenging for top 4, some of the fans thought they could challenge for the league or even win the title this season. That is diabolical. There's no way you can win the league with this type of football. Yes, you want to watch and entertaining football, and some of you be calling Arsenal games boring. But this type of defending and being this wide open against teams that you're meant to be beating is not good enough. Now let's go on to Old Trafford. This game was very exciting, to say the least. I'm not sure how you're feeling as a Manchester United fan after going up 3-0 and then Brighton scoring 2 goals. That was United's third straight win, really. With Ben was scoring a brace, including a late killer. What a finish by Cunha for his goal. The next score on the sheet for Manchester United was Casemiro. I mean, a wicked deflection, but, you take those any day. Take those any day. And United actually moved into the top 4 for that time being, obviously, up until the rest of the teams actually played like today. One thing I've seen by Ruben Amorim's team is they're playing a bit more direct now. And I believe teams that are setting up against them playing the back 4 do not actually know how to cope with that. With Mbuemo, Ahmed down that right-hand side, actually creating a very good link-up, or should I say like a partnership, which is actually working. I mean, even though they're actually having a good attacking display, they're about 3, or let's say 5, is still leaking in goals, which they will need to cut out if they are looking to get into the top 4. As it stands, they'll probably might make the top 6, top 5. Or if they're looking to get into the top 4, they need to fix up. Right now, you cannot say Ruben Amorim's team are not, or have not actually found some sort of confidence from beating Liverpool away. They have. And the momentum was carried on into this game. So, are things looking up? Maybe. Let's see if they can win 5 in a row so that fan can finally get a haircut, mate. So they can finally get a haircut. Next, let's take a trip down to the Hill Dixon Stadium. Obviously, Everton versus Spurs. Game ending 3-0. One thing about Spurs, they've actually had a good away record. At this point, they might as well be playing away every single week because they've not lost in 4 games. I believe 3 wins, 1 draw. You know what I mean? And they've scored 9 goals. Let's have a look at the game, obviously, against Everton. They had what's called aerial threat that Everton could not leave with. Again, set pieces being a constant threat in this Premier League season so far for any team that trying to utilize it. Hey, and regardless of whatever you want to say about Arsenal, Spurs definitely took advantage of this. Thomas Frank team looked very compact and they were very clinical. Yeah, so far they've taken, away anyway on the road, they've taken 13 points from a possible 15, which is very good. Only 2 points dropped. And the man of the match for them was Mickey van der Ven from the set pieces. And obviously, Ricardo making good saves and keeping a clean sheet. Spurs fans might want to just be playing away because their home form has been diabolical. Again, can they maintain this? That is the only question. Now, let's take a look at Aston Villa versus Man City, right? Some would say some sort of upset if you look at the way the game was actually panning out. But one thing I've actually realized so far, if Haaland does not score, City are likely not to actually win a game. Haaland actually missed a big chance in the first half, in front of goal. In the first half, a through ball, running onto it. He took a touch on his left foot, trying to open up his body and place it past Martinez, but he didn't actually. But the shot was too close to Martinez. He didn't actually open up his body properly. I mean, even though he was actually under pressure. And he did actually score an equalizer, but it was ruled out because it was offside. A tight offside, dare I say. Villa actually defended very well with Pau Torres and Martinez actually doing their jobs. But even though City actually dominated with 75% of possession with 18 shots, they couldn't find a way through. And in a goal that was scored by Matty Cash in the 90th minute, a great goal, I should say, touch, past the defender, left foot, the concentration on the kick alone. You watch back the goal, the concentration, you had to concentrate on that strike. With the Man City keeper rooted, he couldn't actually do nothing about that. So, again, Man City, as people thought Man City were turning the tide, they go ahead to lose again. Pep must be scratching his head right now to think what he has to do to stop them leaking goals, or what he has to do to get the others also scoring, because without Haaland scoring, I don't think Man City are going to win games. And the final one, let's have a look at Arsenal. Dare I say a convincing win, because Palace actually had no shot on target. If you're tuning in to actually have or to watch like an entertaining match or a spectacle, that was never going to be the case, because Palace's game plan was to come in and sit and hit Arsenal on a counter-attack. But Arsenal not only fired that amount of times Palace could actually hit us on the counter-attack. With Eze actually scoring from a set piece that was taken by Rice. I believe it was Big Gabby that got the knock-in back into the danger zone, and an acrobatic finish by Eze, who did not actually celebrate his goal like that, but hey, because obviously against his old side, Palace. So all in all, a professional game plan from Arteta, which was executed by his team. And there ain't really that much you could say, because Palace didn't even have a shot on target. And after the game, looking at the stats, Arsenal have 5 clean sheets in 9 games, 9 Premier League games. Best in the league. And they've scored in every match this season, apart from obviously the loss against Liverpool. Right now, the only thing you can say is, Arsenal are not blowing away teams. But they're still showing traits of a champion. I've seen they're not giving anything away for teams. Teams are not getting at Arsenal as they did last season. Last season, a game like this, Arsenal would have drawn. Arsenal drew 14 games last season alone. With Arsenal having good composure, control, consistency over games, and being able to grind out these type of results, the only thing you can do is take it one game at a time. Arsenal fans, let's not get ahead of ourselves. I'm hoping the players are not getting ahead of us, and I know Arteta ain't going to let the players get ahead of themselves. Right now, sitting on top of the table with 22 points, leading Liverpool, the current champions, by 7 points. Just about 3 weeks or so ago, Arsenal were behind Liverpool 5 points. It's crazy. And leading City by 6 points, I believe. The only thing Arsenal can do now is make sure that they do not become complacent. You don't take anything for granted. Go into each game looking to win.
Take the yards.